Here we have a new 2025 Honda Pilot. This Pilot comes in the touring trim level in modern steel metallic, and we have black leather interior. For the powertrain, we get a 285 horsepower, 3.5 liter V6, made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And this one is just a two-wheel drive configuration, so not all-wheel drive. So I'm gonna see how it drives compared to the all-wheel drive models I've driven. But to the front end here, LED headlamps on with LED daytime running lights and LED fog lights. Front parking sensors are integrated in that front bumper there. And I'm sorry about the cicadas. They get louder each vehicle I do today. Down here we get 20-inch alloy wheels. Love the design on the Touring. We get passive keyless entry, all four doors. To the door panel here, one-touch automatic up and down windows, power door locks, power mirrors. And then we have memory seat functions here. Blind spot monitors in those side mirrors. Power liftgate traction control. Hood releases there. Manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And here's our power driver's seat with two-way power lumbar support. And a pretty supportive seat. It looks really good, definitely. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So before we check out the rear legroom, big thank you to Darrell Waltrip Honda for allowing me to review this Pilot today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you're looking to find a Honda Pilot in your area and you want to make sure you get the best price, make sure you hit that link below. Go ahead and fill out your info, and we'll make sure that your local dealers are fighting to give you that best price possible. Our rear blinds are here. I think a must if you have children, especially small children that like to nap in the car. Let's go ahead and make sure the seat's all the way back, and then we'll go ahead and take a seat back here. But seat back pockets on both sides. Very good space here. And back here we do have our rear AC controls, so we can toggle where the airflow's coming from, turn the system on or off, auto, temperature, two USB-C charge ports. There's a view of the front from back here. We get a panoramic sunroof, and there's the sunshade for that. And then this here, we have to pull on this latch, and that will turn into a center console there with bottle holders. And then we can take this seat out by pulling, there's a wire somewhere, and then we can just tumble that out. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. There we go. It took two, but, and as you can see, you can take this whole seat out. And I like these because it gives you the adjustability. So if you, for whatever reason, need to have 6 people in the back seat, you can do so. But let's say you only have 2 most of the time. You can either keep it down like this or just take this whole seat out, because you have 2 bottle holders in each door panel anyway in the back. And there's the third row there. It's still decent space back there for the kids. USB-C port, 2 bottle holders, and then I believe it's the same on the other side. And then over here, grab handle, you can hang a plastic hanger or a metal hanger, depending on what shirts, pants, whatever you want to put there. Now as we go towards the back, fuel filler's there. And these windows are pretty tinted, but I want you all to see just the sticker price here, $49,585 for this one in particular. But as we come around to the back end, tow hitch is integrated there. Spares underneath. We do get a dual exhaust. And then as we lift this up, not bad space behind the third row. So top tethers are behind on the back of the seats there, so we can pull here. That'll fold flat, and you can see the difference from when the seat's up to when it's folded down. And then pretty easy to just pull it back into place. And we can also kind of adjust it if we want to as well. But we can use this button. And then when we walk away from the vehicle, I believe that'll lower the lift gate. 12 volt side pocket there. There's a smaller one over here. Storage under there, actually really good storage under there. Now as we come around to the rear passenger side, you can hit this button either here or on the back of the seat, and that'll kind of push it forward, and then we can just pull back on it, lock it back into place, and then we can fold the seat flat by pulling there. So when the third row's down, the second row's down, you have that much more cargo space. And then we have our anchors right in here for your car seats. And then front passenger side, power seat bottom, power seat back there. I just hope you all are able to hear me through this. These cicadas, it's unreal how loud they are. Definitely power in numbers. A lockable glove compartment down here, owner's manuals. Then we have a top pocket there if you want to lay something that you don't necessarily need stowed away. I can barely hear myself. Sheesh. But a bunch of trees back there. This is really the only good part or good spot though. Everywhere else is packed. And there's that 3.5 V6. That hood burned my hand. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So that's much better. Leather wrap steering wheel here. There's the horn. I'm gonna turn this down just a tad. You get a Bose sound system. Sounds really good. I tested it out, but you know, go to the dealer, test it out yourself. I'm gonna try and start doing some sound tests if I can remember to have music ready to go. Over here to the radio, we get AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth, and then we also get navigation along with the wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. But I like, this is one of the few manufacturers that still gives you built-in nav here. So I appreciate that. And then in our settings here, we have vehicle settings and general settings. So the general settings, you go into the system, you can change your language, date, and time. And then in the vehicle settings, if you go to the meter setup, you can change your units of measurement if you want to there. Everything else pretty self-explanatory though. Not too hard to link your devices, go to Bluetooth audio, connect a new device, or go to the device list. Walks you right through it. Backup cameras there, guidelines follow as you turn the steering wheel. And then down here we have our dual zone automatic climate control, so we can set the auto there, sync and unsync, and then we can adjust the fan speed. We get 3-stage heated seats, and then we have our rear AC controls there. USB-A, USB-C charge port, 12-volt wireless charging pads here. And for the shifter, it's push button, park, reverse, neutral, drive. Then you can toggle with the sport shifts. And then your drive modes are here. So you have Econ, Snow, Tow, and then normal and sport there. I don't know what the two sport modes do. I'm still confused about that. I believe one's for the shifts and then one's for the actual pedal. Just weird, but electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down and disengage, brake hold, downhill brake control, auto stop. Center console cubby space is here. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And as that sunshade goes back, here's a look at that panoramic roof there. And we can tilt or slide that. So I'm gonna one-touch slide it. And there's a sunglasses holder, turn it to a visor. Then if I did a second time, it goes all the way back there. But the controls for all that's here. Garage door transmitter there. And then vanity mirror drop down. After the steering wheel, blinkers, high beams, flash, fog lights, and then you have automatic headlamp controls there. And to the right side, we have our intermittent wipers, so one time off, and then we have intermittent low, high. We can adjust that intermittent frequency here, and then our rear wipers here, off, intermittent on. Pull that way or that way for the rear wiper fluid, pull up for the front. And then paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Safety features are over here, so adaptive cruise, set the speed, cancel, lane centering, and then we can adjust the gap for that adaptive cruise. And then we can go through track list, radio station presets here, volume, voice recognition, and then the home button and the scroll bar can go through all of the options you have here, including the range and fuel view. And then we also have things like the tire pressure sensors, which we can just have sitting there if we want. Push button starts there. Here's the key fob with remote start. And next, we're gonna go ahead and take this 2025 Honda Pilot Touring out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Pilot Touring, the 10-speed shifts very well in the normal drive mode, which just makes it get up to speed quickly without being too, I guess, heavy on the throttle, if you will. But once you get going, it's very, very smooth here, very quiet in the cabin. And the ride quality of these is very solid. It doesn't ride too smooth, but it also is not rough at all. And the steering is just a tad light for me. But let me put it in a sport mode and see if that changes anything. So still relatively light steering in sport mode, but you definitely get that throttle output. But a lot of people who drive these, probably will not complain about the steering feel, because it's easy to control. It makes a lot of sense. It's just a touch of a button or just a flip of your fingers and you're moving in one direction. I prefer a tighter steering wheel, but most people that drive these probably will not, so that's not really an issue. Now the normal drive mode, again, it's pretty nice just in terms of your overall throttle output. You don't feel like you have to gas it to get up to speed, and you also don't feel like you have to be super light on the pedal to stay efficient. So it's a nice sweet spot. But the econ mode is actually very good as well in limiting how much gas you burn when you put your foot to the pedal, but not necessarily leaving you stranded in terms of your throttle output like I've experienced in some Infinitis and Nissans. So you still get the full grunt of your V6 for the most part. Obviously it's not the maximum power output, but pretty decent. And for your adaptive cruise, the lowest speed it looks like you can go is 25. I was trying to get it to match the school zone at 20. But it's not hard to hold your speed here, even at this lower speed, so I appreciate that. It's not like I'm having to go on and off the gas pedal and the brake. Holds pretty steady for the most part. So I have the manual shifts enabled, and we're gonna see how it gets up to speed here. Here we go. So I didn't give it, I was barely having my foot down. I didn't want to floor it. This thing only has 20 miles, but I wanted it to rev up just a tad. And does a great job at that. Gonna put it in the regular drive mode. And then we're gonna test out the adaptive cruise, lane centering. So it's gonna keep a safe distance between myself and the vehicle in front of me. I think a great overall package here with the Touring. Me personally, I would just go all out and do the Elite, just pay a few grand more, get cooled seats and a few other creature comforts, but the Touring's a pretty good spot if you want almost everything. So I want to give one more thank you to Darrell Waltrip Honda for allowing me to review this Pilot today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And then if you're interested in finding a Pilot in your area and you want to make sure you get the best possible price from the local dealers, make sure you click the link below in the description, fill out your info, and we'll make sure to get you that best possible price. But I'll be sitting here for a minute, so this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2025 Honda Pilot Touring.